Start?
Let's start. Sure. Hi, I'm Amrita Rajpal. I'm an early years specialist. I've been teaching for 22 years, but I've been learning my whole life. And that's why I have a company named Edu Learn Grow. I'm passionate about creating learning environments that are engaging, meaningful, and fun for children. I'm also a sports nutritionist, an avid traveler, an active Rotarian. I'm the territory head for the Early Childhood Association Mumbai. I'm the founder of EduLearn Grow and the co-founder of the ABCD show.
Hi, I'm Bela Kutwani, also known as Big B. Big for the size of my heart and B for Bela. A fun loving person with a great sense of humor and a passionate pickleball player. National Core Committee member of Early Childhood Association, founder and principal Cosmic Kids International, co-founder Puppet Maestros and the ABCD show. An educationist and a puppeteer who helps teachers to make learning fun for children by using puppets as a tool for teaching. My vision is to help parents and teachers raise emotionally intelligent children.
Welcome to season 2 of the ABCD show. First of all, we'd like to thank all our viewers for viewing our show, for being so committed to your own learning, and for showing us all your love. We are all geared up to get you the best educators to enhance your skills and to take your knowledge to new heights.
We have some really exciting basket of offerings. We have our ABCD shows where we will call experts to talk about their best practices. We will introduce you to some really value for money and effective products and services. And we have some incredible courses that will help you gain mastery in the subject.
Season 2 has a different format. We will have Ask Amrita and Bela on alternate Wednesdays, where you will ask us your questions on child development and we will revert. And on the other 2 Wednesdays, we will have ABCD shows with speakers or we'll showcase new products or new ideas and innovations.
So, parents and teachers, email us your questions on topics relating to early childhood development, education, and rearing on the ABCD Show 6 at gmail.com. And we will be back with the answers on Facebook Live. Waiting to see you soon. So, good evening and welcome to the ABCD show. Our topic for today is building beyond towers. Block play offers an open-ended, creative, valuable play and learning experiences available to every setting. It offers children freedom to explore, take apart and pull together all the blocks, and they can create their own beautiful work of art. So we have an expert here today with us. I want to introduce all of you to him. His name is Brunal Shah, the speaker for the day. In 2018, Brunal laid the foundation brick for Sunday Bricks. At Sunday Bricks, he designs Lego workshops for children. Along with conducting weekend workshops, he guides parents and trains teachers. Brunal is a certified 6 Bricks trainer, a program supported by Lego Foundation. He is currently studying play therapy so he can promote Lego therapy to special children. He also, there's lots more things gone to Brunal's credit. Let me just read out all to you. He's built and installed India's largest strawberry, 4 feet tall, made with approximate 5,000 blocks in 2021 February. He's a play ambassador from India for Genius of Play program initiated by Toy Association. He's certified Makey Makey trainer. He is the play ambassador for Strawberry Sweden. He was the receiver of Junior FLL 2019-2020 Mumbai. He was invited to attend Lego Ideas Conference 2019 in Denmark. He has completed BRICS for Autism Basic Facilitator course. He has initiated the first online parent-child community, Young Lego Lovers of India, on Facebook. A very warm welcome to you, Mrinal.
Welcome, Renal.
Thank you very much, and it's always a pleasure being here.
Renal, our audience is just waiting to hear so many things from you. So I'm going to start with the questions immediately. All right? And we're not going to waste time on anything else. So I understand there are many different kinds of blocks. So can you demystify the different kinds of blocks for our audience? Let them know about the different kinds of blocks that they can use with the children and what helps the children.
Wonderful. So first thing I always do is I always do a block pledge. So if you've got blocks or whatever that you've got with you, just pledge on the block saying that today all the activities you're going to do, getting back the child, bring out the child from you and make sure that you'll play all the activities sincerely by putting in all the efforts and just get back the child. Only then you're going to really enjoy my session today. Okay, wonderful. So having said that, the most common things that we always see is the mega block. Okay, these are mega because they're huge in size, and the reason why they're so big is so that a child can really hold. There's a good grip, and they're big enough so that when the child is about to chew or is trying to consume it, it's not possible that the child is going to be able to eat it. So it's really big enough to play, but the safety concerns are, addressed here. So this is good for 1.5 until 2.5. This is perfect. Mega block is good enough. Then you move on to something like this. So this is called as a Duplo size, something that Amrita and Bela also just showed you now. Exactly. So that's again big enough. But it's smaller than this because, by then the child is 2.5, 3, and, the motor skills are good. They have a good grip. So it's kind of, as you grow big, you have to get those sizes smaller. So that's what happens here. And then once you're 4 and above, you start with a brick like this. This is called as the classic size of brick. So this is something that you will see that a 5-year-old is normally playing. And this is 5 to 99. And as long as you want to really play with this, okay? So just something really cool in case you want to just know about the dimension. This is where it really fits. And that's how it has been made. Even, in your preschools, even at home, we've got these Jenga blocks, we've got these wooden tiles or wooden blocks. Even that is considered as a block. But the only thing that's missing in this is that you cannot connect them. And this little thing that connects, okay? This little thing that connects 2 blocks is called as studs. Be it mega block, be it classic, or be it the Duplo, these are called as studs. Simple as that. Your wooden blocks do not have studs, so you cannot fix them together. You can just place one over the other. So that's very, very simple, kind of way of, differentiating between blocks. Of course, based on the company, you might have different sizes and patterns and who's making it, but let's not get into that. But yes, so that's the real
We also
difference.
have foam blocks, right? But we don't use those.
Foam ones are even bigger than this. So, that's more like a, just to build like a castle or a little house, which is not very popular now because it's not eco-friendly. Even plastic, I know, is not eco-friendly, but that's just too much and too expensive. So you wouldn't find that now. Yeah. Okay, so that's the real difference.
So let's go to the second question, Mrinal. We all know that play is very, very important and it's beneficial as well. Can you throw some light on your idea of play for children?
Absolutely, because I want this session to be full of activities. So I'm not going to. Okay, can I get the permission to share my screen?
Yes, sure.
Yes, you may.
Okay, I'll try now. Yes, it's working.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna move from here. Okay, yeah, we just spoke about this. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so we all, I know everybody who's attending here is either getting into the education field or is already a teacher or doing something with children. So we I think everywhere we do learn about what is play, and it's been told that learning through play is definitely the best way of teaching children. So why is, I mean, what is play? It's something that's very, very natural for one and all. It is really the work of the child. What is the child supposed to do when he or she gets up? Just have fun, play with something different every day, or mix things that he or she, played with yesterday and find something new to play with. And of course, it's the most natural and the dominant way of teaching a child, or learning for a children. So that's why they say, or we as teachers or educators always want to teach children in a play way, in a fun way. And of course, at the heart of play is fun. And play really engages children holistically. When I say holistically, it's emotionally, physically, and in so many ways. It's just making sure that the child is happy and spending a great day ahead. And of course, it helps children to express and communicate, because if you are angry, if you're not happy, you're just going to throw that toy which is in your hand, and the mummy knows, or the teacher knows, something is wrong with this child. So let's just take care of that. And of course, whether it's an adult or a child, play is different for everybody. Okay, so I would love Battleship, or I would love Monopoly, or Amrita would love Game of Life, or so many other things, or Bela would love Jenga. But it's all about play, it's all about games. So it's different for everybody. You just can't generalize play. Okay, so if one child is playing something, it doesn't mean that your child is going to play the same thing. Okay. Before I go to the next slide, and before I talk about the benefits, or even Amrita, before you ask me about the benefits, I think it's time to play something. It's time to really do something. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. We have blocks with us. Everybody, make sure you've got at least 6 to 8 blocks. Okay. Now, the activity is very simple. You're going to build a staircase. Okay. So what is a staircase? It is a slanting line, right? Very simple. Now, hold on. I didn't ask you to start. Okay, hold on. My instructions are not yet over. Okay, hold on. So that's a very, very simple staircase. Now, I want you to close your eye. First, I want you to open up all your bricks on the table. Okay. And then I want you to close your eyes. Pick up one brick. Okay. But I'm going to do that together with you. Okay. I'm not going to cheat. Okay. We'll all do it together. So I'm just going to open up in front of me. And as we pledge that we're going to be really fair with whatever we do. So we're going to do that now. Close your eyes. Okay. Yes. Pick up one brick, anything, and start building. Okay. And try to get it closer to the screen so we know what you're trying to build. Okay.
You have to build staircase only, right?
Doesn't matter. A staircase. You can have your own idea of a staircase. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
We're all in a school now. Okay. So the teacher says, let's build something, but the eyes are closed. Wonderful. And if you think your staircase is ready, I want you to just put it on the table and see what happens.
It's falling down.
Oops. What's wrong?
Yeah, mine also is falling down.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with the blocks. So we have a problem here. Okay. We have a problem now. Let's wait for Amrita. Okay. Wonderful. Yes. Nice staircase. Lovely. Can you try resting your staircase? Okay. It's not going to. It's going to fall. Okay.
Yeah, it's falling.
What am I going to do? Okay. I have the liberty to pick up one brick or one block and adjust it in such a way that I am able to support the staircase. Okay. It might not work for Amrita that much. Maybe Amrita, you can take 2 bricks out and try and balance your staircase. No, but put it on the table and see. Put it on the table and see whether are you able to rest it.
I could do this one with 2 bricks, but
okay. So one way is definitely that I'm just going to give it some support here. Okay. If you see my screen, I'm just putting 1 brick here and I get some support. Okay. Another option is that, okay, but Bela, your steps are too high. Nobody's going to jump up that staircase. Okay. So another option is that I try and put some weight here. Okay. At the back. Either I put some weight at the back, or I put one block here in the front, so that I get some support and I'm able to balance it.
Could we do like this?
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. I mean, as a child, yes, everybody's going to ask those questions when you're doing this. I want to do this way, I want to do that. Anyways, there's no right way or a wrong way because everybody's going to think differently. They're going to make staircase in a different way. But what I want to say is an activity or a little game which has been less than 1 minute in the total duration that we've been into. Yes, you can just go all the way. It doesn't matter. That's fine.
Mine is such a lopsided staircase, I can't tell you.
But
I
the
don't know whether
idea
I'm
is
going
that
up in my staircase or going down.
doesn't matter. You can even go from the side. Doesn't matter. But the idea is that it made the child think. Okay, it made the child kind of get into a thinking mode that what am I going to do to support this? Okay, and we are adults. We know we have some spatial understanding. We know where did we place our blocks. Okay, but for children, they're going to really forget where those blocks were. They're going to start doing that. And if you're on a bench of two children, you will see somebody's grabbing the other person's bricks, and eventually things will I mean, my partner might have few bricks. My staircase will be with 8 bricks or 10 bricks. All that fun is going to happen. But just simple things. Balancing is all about physics, all about understanding gravity, which we don't even have to tell them those words. We don't even have to tell them the word physics, but they're learning at a very, very small age. Okay. And that's why the word holistic learning comes through play, not just with blocks. Of course, today blocks are our hero, but just to give you that science, mathematics, geometry is all coming here. Very, very simple activity. Yes. Which means that, as I promised, I'm going to get on to the benefits, which I know everybody knows, but let's just do that, okay? So
Was
that's why I
simply
thought I'm going to do
outstanding.
the.
Before we continue, I want to say I can see how many things I can just learn from this one activity. It's not about balance only, it's about space and how much space I require. I'm also learning ascending and descending, if you see, because I need to know whether I'm going up or coming down. I am also getting an idea of where a person will stand to climb from. Do I need to climb up from here? Then how will I get up here? And how is my staircase moving? I think this activity is like teaching me so many different things. It's simply amazing. Really
Well, I think you are a
wonderful.
good student. You're a good student because it's not very common that a student is going to ask me, are we going to make a staircase that is going down or is it going up? If you have a child who's asked that question, you have some bright mind there. And you did ask me whether it's going down or up. So it's good. A lot of thinking happening there as well.
Yeah, I think, engineers are made of this, now, a thinking mind. And that's what we want to inculcate. So beautiful activity, Mrinal. Really nice.
Wonderful. Let me just get onto my screen. Okay. So again, what are the benefits of play, whether it's with blocks or with anything that children play at home? It helps in development of skills, which are, of course, physical, cognitive, creative, emotional, and of course, social. So if we were doing this activity in pairs, okay, where one person is closing the eye and the other person is just supposed to give the bricks, there's a lot of collaboration happening and a social bond happening. Okay. Of course, cognitive skills, yes, because we were holding this and we were doing things. Okay, we were just not listening and we were just not sitting and listening to the teacher. And creative, of course, because everybody thinks about a staircase in a different way. Somebody can also think about a spiral staircase, and yes, you can make a spiral staircase with this as well. Okay, physical, absolutely, because you're using your hands and your body to this. Okay, leads, and all forms of play leads to empathy, sharing, taking turns. Yes, when you go to a playground, you have to wait for the next turn to get onto the swing or onto the slide. Increases resilience and self-confidence. For somebody who's just into teaching, resilience is very important. Something that we need to teach children is because, yeah, if I fail today, I want to bounce back and I want to make sure that I am going to do this tomorrow again. Because tomorrow, as a teacher, I'm going to tell you that you're going to build a staircase with 12 bricks. Okay, so I'm going to bounce back, take back from what I've learned today, and build something cool. That's really resilience. Not giving up. Facilitates problem solving skills, yes, and allows you to take risk because I'm not going to follow what the teacher said, but I'm going to try something different, something unique. So that's where you kind of take a risk and all those things. Okay. So yes. So that was play and benefits of play.
So And, as they say, play is child's work. Maria Montessori said that. But it's nice to talk about play. How do you bring play into the classroom? Give us some
Yes.
examples which we can use.
Yes, one is first, let's get that mindset that play is not something like a PT period, wherein, okay, finish studies, now PT. And then, we had this joke coming on Twitter saying that those PT periods are taken away by the maths teacher to finish the portion. So even all of that is getting lost. But I agree, it's not anybody's fault. It's also the education system, which of course is getting better and better. Let's not get into that. But as a teacher, if I want to make my classroom fun, I want to make sure that it's getting into their head, because that's what we want them to do, right? Make sure it's going here. So you need something that's small. You can't have a playground. You can't have a basketball in the house. You can't have a hula hoop. Yes, a bigger classroom can have a hula hoop. But if you just had some blocks with you, something that a teacher is just going to tell that, okay, this is something that you're going to bring with you every day in your bag, okay? Like your compass box, like your tiffin box. This is your play material, right from pre-primary until primary. This is where play is it, right? I mean, we don't need to get the playground. We don't need to go to the activity room. Which means that let's do another activity, and then I'm going to get into why we want play in the classroom. Okay, I'm going to talk less but do more of activities. Okay, so we're going to build a cube. Okay, very simple. Two standing lines. Pick up any color. Standing lines. Yeah, you can do it on your desk. Okay, you can do it on your desk. Yeah, I'm just showing it to you so that's easy. Let's just put two sleeping lines over this. I always love to talk in terms of standing and sleeping lines because that's what we teach children. Okay. So with two sleeping lines, I have locked my blocks. Okay. Pick up any color, doesn't matter. Pick up any color. So on my two standing lines, I have put two sleeping lines. And yes, again, I've got my two standing lines. So I've got a nice little cube here. Okay. So we are in a history class. Okay. We're going to talk about World War or something, and it's all about a lot of dates and too much of theory. 10 minutes is something wherein I can really grab attention of the child. After that, I am going and seeing the window, the fan, who's coming at the door, and everything starts. Okay, so that's when the teacher knows, okay, now things are going out of control. Let's put in a game. Okay, so everybody has a cube on the desk. All that you're going to do is just use your elbow and just lift it up. Very simple. Okay. Try. Doesn't matter. Try. Yes. How much ever you can lift that. Yeah, perfect. That's good. Okay. So what happened? We just asked them to do a very little activity. We got them moving because we don't want to play. And then, there are some kids are going to like, oh, ma'am, I can't do it. So he'll stand up and do and all that, because we want to just get into that play mode and waste the teacher's time. But that's fun. That's really fun. So we start one day with this. And then the teacher again is going to have a history period next day. So every teacher is going to say that, okay, let's play again another game. So everybody's ready with the cube and they're doing this. But the teacher has changed the mind, right? Because we don't want to do the same things again. We've got to challenge our kids. So we're going to say, okay, now who's going to do this? Oh, I changed my plan. I was not ready for this. I was not prepared for this. And you are never prepared. Yes, try Amrita. 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, it's scattered all over.
That's okay. I told you, you have to get back the child in you. Okay. If we start behaving like adults, nothing is happening. Anyways, that's how animated I am when I'm talking to people or when I'm with children. But what I mean to say is that we have reduced recess time. Okay, the breaks are getting shorter because with so much that we've got to cover up. So if we want to add that fun element, because when you go back home, the child is going to the parent is going to ask one question: how was your day? Okay, if it was boring, sif padhai kiya, then nobody's going to answer anything and just walk away and do whatever. How was your day? I had fun. The history class teacher made me do this. And then, I could do it, he couldn't do it, and all that will happen. So the parent is happy, the child is happy, and you know that, oh, something is really happening cool in the school. And my child every day has something to come and tell me. Okay. So that's about the recess time, about brain breaks, right? We want to always tell them, okay, let's take a break. But wo break mein kare kya? You know, what are we going to do in that break? Just, I mean, I don't know. But if we just had to do some short activity, it's best. Brain gym, right? We always talk about, you know, it's a lot of people do brain gymming activities and all. If you do it in your classroom, that's wonderful. But one very important reason to do a brain gym activity is to develop your, you know, something called as the working memory, right? When you do a mental math sum, you're putting things in this pocket, this pocket, this pocket of the brain, and then coming up with an answer by joining all those things, okay? Which means that the next activity is about brain gym. And I know a lot of teachers have heard about brain gym and done those right hand, left hand doodling and a lot of things that happen around there, which means that we're making our brain charged up and powerful. Let's see if that happens. Okay, so how are you going to get ready for this? Open up all your bricks in front of you and keep your ears, eyes, mind open and listen to me what I'm going to say. Amrit, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to pick up your bricks. That's a classroom setup where something has fallen down and we want to make sure everybody's ready. If there is somebody who is looking at this and is trying to do things, please put in the chat box so that I know whether am I going so fast or am I going very fast or very slow? What am I doing? Okay. Yeah, and we want to make it as a very interactive session, not like a speaker session, typical one. So everybody just enjoy and relax. Okay, Amrit, are you ready? The whole class is waiting for you. Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to narrate a story, okay? The story has colors. You're going to remember the colors in the order, okay? So if I said that Amrita is wearing a green dress, but she likes the dress that Bela is wearing, which is red in color, and the curtains in Bela's house are yellow in color, but we also found blue color curtains in Amrita's room or house, okay? So these were the 4 colors in the order, okay? Now, put your bricks down, okay? This is my ready position. I call this ready position to children. Just get ready for the activity. You're going to build a tower, okay? The first color at the bottom, second, third, fourth. And then you can show it to me what you're building, okay? Hands like this. Because under the camera, I don't know what you are building. So listen, okay? Okay, perfect. The boy has a blue cycle and a red car with green tires. Oh no, I didn't stop. You have to wait. Okay. So wait for the teacher to finish. The boy has a blue cycle and a red car with green tires. So boy has a blue cycle with a red car with green tires. Okay. Perfect. So if you notice, we also have a light blue in our thing. You will have children saying that, oh, blue can be light blue and all of that. That's fine. Okay, that's a part of the child play. Was that easy? Nice.
Yes.
Very simple. Now, chalo. Open up all the bricks and keep ready. Okay, let it all be ready. Okay, wonderful. So I would do this with my pre-primary because they can just store 2 colors, 3 colors. Okay. Now you all have come to primary. Okay, you're in grade 1 and you're doing these activities since last 3 years, 4 years. You are really charged up. Wonderful. Now listen to this. Hands up. Perfect. Listen to this. In the city, I see a yellow taxi moving on the roads. They stop when the signal is red and move when it turns green. The policeman in the city wears blue uniform with an orange tie. Build. You can just lift it up and build. Yeah. Okay. So Amrita and Bela, check your models. Oh no, like each other's.
That green you missed out.
So I'm just going to repeat again. Yellow taxi, red signal, green signal, blue uniform, and orange tie. Okay. So a lot of memory, okay. A lot of thinking, a lot of silence in the class because everybody is listening. Everybody wants to make sure that they're doing the right thing. And when you are really ready with it, you're going to be like me, and then the one who forgot is just going to look around and see, acha, these are the colors, I'll fix it up. But eventually they will grow, and you can put in all the 6 colors, you can put in all the
I
6.
just build so much focus, you know. It's such a nice activity to get people back into the fold and focus.
I was trying
Amazing.
to see what comes, red come first, then yellow. I was trying to remember the order in my mind.
It's like a
Focus
memory
comes.
game
Yes.
in action.
So if this happens every day, I mean, a different class teacher does it in a different ways. The English teacher is going to say that, okay, you heard the story, you're going to put the bricks in the color, but you are going to tell me the story in your own words. Add new words that you want to add, okay? So interdisciplinary learning, that we say that, okay, maths teacher talks to science teacher teacher talks to English teacher, which doesn't happen because we've got all our things to do. But if the science teacher says that this is the story that I narrated, tomorrow you're going to narrate the same thing, but ask them to use a lot of conjunctions, use a lot of things. We can just go on and on with this. I mean, it's just adding one more layer or one more flavor to the activity. So it's scalable, okay? And all that we've done is just use this. Nothing else is there in our classroom until now. No fancy chart papers, no glue stick, nothing. It's just this right now. So that was, I just spoke about brain gym and the working memory. And okay, I'm keeping a check on the time because I'll just go on and on. Okay, wonderful. And most important thing about why we're going into a playground is because we want bilateral coordination. What's bilateral coordination? Okay, we're symmetrically designed, okay, which means the left and the right is equally important. Left and the right brain is equally important. We always write with our dominant hand, be it left or right. What about the other hand? What about the other part of the body? It's never used, okay? It's just used to support. Young children, if they're on the table or on the floor, they just use the left hand to support themselves. But it's just the right thing. So when they're building, I always tell them you have to build it with your right and the left. And when you do partner activities, you just tell them, put your right hand back. You're just going to build today with your left hand. Non-dominant hand, you're never used to building with this. Not easy. Like we did in the eduthon, we did things with the left hand. Okay, now that Amrita is trying to do something, let's just do an activity. This was not planned, but we're going to do it. Chalo, put your right hand back or your dominant hand back. Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Huh?
Yeah. So let's build a tower. Chalo. This is my favorite activity in every workshop. So standing line, sleeping line, standing line, only with left hand. Put the other hand back. You have to be in the discomfort position also. Okay. Focus, concentrate. Okay. Fine motor skills, because as you go up, your hands are shivering. And then you have external factors like your AC and the fan, which is also going to create that hurricane and spoil.
Fell down.
The last one.
Last one, yes.
Aww.
So if this is happening every day, we're just making them do activities with the left hand. We're just helping them build their fine motor skills, because the teacher will make them write with only right hand. No, you can't do this. Like that village in Uttar Pradesh where they write with both the
Yes, I've
hands. We
seen
can't
that.
do that in our classrooms, right? That's not happening. So what do? We just make use of some games, and they're not able to go out. Cricket, football is not happening every time, every day. So very simple, a very simple way of dealing with this.
And good to learn about balance at the same time.
Yes. So there's another trick to it as well, which children will eventually learn, because if you've got studs here, as per physics, you've got more material here. So there's more, I mean, this is going to fall down, right? Because there's more weight here. So then you've got to balance it by doing it this side, right? So there's weight balancing happening here. That they will learn from pre-primary, and they go up. And that's what is cognitive skills, right? Learning by doing things. So they learn.
If we had built it the other way around, would it stand properly? Mine fell down right now.
If you put everything like this, it will not, because it's simple physics. All weight is coming here. Gravity is coming into picture.
To do it this way, okay.
Yeah, so then you balance it.
When we talk about experiential learning, this is experiential learning.
Absolutely.
You are actually doing it and experiencing, will it fall, will it not fall? So amazing.
Yes, wonderful. Okay, so do you have like a next question for me?
Yes, I have a next question. You know, normally when we talk about teaching aids, we think about flip charts, we think about maybe puppets, puzzles sometimes. So can blocks be used as a teaching aid is my question.
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't say
Actually, blocks are just free play. Do
Yeah.
what you like with it.
People
And
feel that only, yeah.
yeah, that's it. There's no structured learning at all with blocks.
it is an open-ended toy, which doesn't mean that you keep it open for children and do whatever you want, but eventually they'll end up building only towers. And
Correct.
that's why the workshop is called Building Beyond Towers. But if you add some structure, yes, I would say that it can't be like the 100% replacement of all teaching aids. It's not possible. But a lot of things we can really do. Okay, so let's start with colors. We always love to teach children warm colors and cool colors. And then we do a lot of activities around them. So we've got things here. Can you divide this into warm colors and cool colors? So this is my first teaching aid, okay, for art class. Will you divide them into warm and cool colors?
Correct.
I have warm and cool colors. Very, very simple, okay? Then I can divide my class into warm colors. My class gets divided into cool colors, okay? What is warm and what is red and what is yellow, okay? Then sun, dragon, all those imaginary things will come in, okay? What is cool and what is what relates to this? So it's grass, water, ocean, so many things that comes into this, okay? When I'm talking all of this, children are speaking words, vocabulary, okay? That's what we want them to do. We want ways by which we can let them open up their mouth and what they know, come on, speak it up. That's what we want them to do. Even if they don't speak, it's the neighbor that they've heard and they've got that word into them, right? It's not just the teacher, but I heard my friend and I'm going to remember my friend's words much more than my teacher's words, okay? My friend spoke this, I'm going to remember this, okay? So that's about simple colors. How about shapes? Okay, so let's do a nice activity on shapes. Okay, pick up any one block. Okay, any one block. Okay, yes. I want you to close your eyes. Okay, listen to the instructions. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to feel the entire block in all the sides. And I want you to tell me how many circles are there, how many squares are there, and how many rectangles are there. Okay, you can close your eyes. You'll be better focused if you close your eyes.
Circles.
Okay, wait. Because even working memory is happening. No, I don't want you to just utter it out.
I got 9 circles. No.
Hold on. Okay,
I
5.
think everyone can write in the chat box.
Yes.
Those
I'm
who have
seeing,
this
don't
kind of
worry.
box,
I am
yeah.
seeing. Though Amrita and Bela are like eyes shut. Yes. If everybody, if you can see, yes. I mean, yes, you can really do that. 8 circles. Okay, focus, concentrate, let your lecture. Okay.
I got 11 circles because in behind there are 3 circles.
Yes. Okay, so everybody, let's open up the eyes. If you have a block which is of this size, you have 11 circles, 8 in the front, 3 at the back. Okay. You've got 6 rectangles, right? 1 in the front, 1 in the back, 4 on the edges. There are 2 squares. Look carefully.
Yes.
At the back, it's divided into 2 squares. Okay. So it's simple geometry. And then if the teacher wants to say, okay, everybody remove a block, let's talk about the edges first. Okay. Before I even get onto a problem and before I even get onto the blackboard, here are my edges. Here is my angle or my vertex. Okay. That's the circle here. I'm not sure if I can talk about diameter here, but I can definitely talk about the circumference. Experiential learning is all about feeling or understanding or awakening your senses and letting your mind make that connection and understand, yes, what is circle, what is circumference? When you draw it on the blackboard, can a child really go and touch the circumference? No, You can touch it here. I can feel the circumference here. I can feel the four sides of it, okay? If I'm going to stick a number here, 4, 2, 4, and 2, and ask the child what is the perimeter of this thing, I can really just turn all of this and do this, okay? In three-dimension world, okay? What you see in front on your blackboard is two-dimension, but the world around you is in 3D, okay? Why are we teaching everything in 2D when everything around us is in 3D? Do it here. This is the solution for that. Of course, you can't do trigonometry and all of that with this, but basics can really happen with this. You don't need any fancy material. Teacher doesn't even have to go onto the blackboard. It's all happening here. Very simple as that. If you have a classroom where you mentioned that, we just do open play and just leave the blocks, okay? We want them to do something meaningful, okay? Everybody, you go into a different corner. Let's do the activity of sorting, okay? So everybody, one person, one group is just going to sort all the red colors. One person is going to sort all the blue colors. 500, 600 blocks in a classroom. There's so much chaos, so much fun. And then you will see that caring and sharing coming in. Arey, look, I found your yellow color. Take this yellow. Take this blue color. I found it in my pile. There's one activity happening there, sorting. Okay, so that's one aid. We got them engaged for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay. Music, okay, Bela, so you do a lot of poems, a lot of puppet, okay, a lot of puppet related workshops for teachers as well. We want to create music in a classroom. We don't have drums, we don't have things readily available. You can get the pattern, you can get the rhythm in the music, okay. Again, this was in their compass box, it was on their desk, and all that you had to do was, come on, everybody, join me. It's somebody's birthday. This is how we're going to clap today. So much of chaos, so much of noise. You're getting those auditory, feelings awakened, so much of sensory play happening just by simple stuff here. Okay. We teach
about patterns, no?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, follow the pattern, record a pattern, So I can see a lot of patterning also happening over here.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of patterns. Yes, I'm going to come to patterns in a bit. Okay, so let's do that. Again, we teach them alphabets. Okay, we always teach them A for apple, B for ball, C for cat. Okay, how does A look like? I know a bunny. I know. Okay, A for apple. I have an apple at home. I can touch it. I can feel it. Can I touch and feel A? Can I make A? Now these kids are so small. They don't even know how to write. Okay, but a simple teaching aid. So for example, here is C for cat. Okay. Can you see the C in the right manner? Yep. So we teach them C for cat, C for cap, C for car. Okay. I want you to build a C. Okay. I'm just going to put my blocks here. Okay. I'm just going to quickly make this. Just going to put down and make it here. You can just see it. So that's another activity for children. They're going to build their letter C. Okay. Wonderful. And if I want to really feel how my C appears, I'm going to close my eyes. Okay. Can you feel the sleeping line on top? Okay. Can you feel the standing line here? Again, can you feel the sleeping line here? I have felt my C. I have understood what my C looks like. Okay. Then when I have to sit and write, when I have to go back and write things, it's going to be easy because I felt it. My hands were able to understand. My hands made a neural connection about what C looks like. It was not something that my teacher held my hand and did it, right? So in the same way, you've got D, E, and all of that for A to Z. You feel and you build your own letter. Okay, so that's something that's really doable.
I would really
just a quick question over here.
For the the letters which have standing and sleeping lines and not for the curves.
Even I was just coming to that.
Yeah, because I think maybe they'll get confused, but the ones with E, F, all of this is amazing. The H, very good.
Yes, but I mean, I agree. It's not the, you have those curved lines and all coming in when we teach them. But it's okay, right? I mean, we can deviate a bit. Can we?
No, but they may write C like that when you go to proper class.
No. So. I think we'll stick to the vertical and the horizontal line.
Yes, but okay, I agree. I get this, but I think that means it's a good scope for me to modify something and get a curved shape to this. I guess.
Yes.
Okay, I agree to that. I'll take that. But again, a nice activity to build things, especially the ones with the lines. Yes. The curves, yes, good feedback. I think I'm going to work on the curves and get that thing sorted. Thank you. I love that. And that's why I need to be with teachers
Maybe
around.
they could use pipes, pipe cleaners, or those pipes which you get, the moldable ones, and they can make the curved ones and use the blocks for the standing and sleeping. So there are a lot of things a teacher can do.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's scalable and you can really print this. So if I'm just going to place this in a little different manner, I am going to get the
Now,
curves.
perfect. Yeah.
I am getting the
Yes.
curves. I just have to modify the design. So yes, it's sorted. Don't worry about that. So that's happening. So yes, again, that was about letting them feel and touch the whole thing. You spoke about patterns, right? We always let them do the patterns. So for example, let's come back with a nice activity. I'm going to make a nice pattern and you're going to do the same thing. Okay, that's my pattern. I'm just going to just modify the colors a bit because they're too okay, that's my pattern. So this is like a junior KG pattern. Yeah. So I
We have
want
to
you
use
to,
the same colors.
yes, because it's also your,
Copying the pattern.
yes, observing, doing the same things, right? You're actually seeing a 2D model in front of you, but you're doing it in the 3D space. Yes. Sometimes you will see children doing it like this, and then we ask them a question, right? I mean, is my pattern exactly the same way as your pattern? Check. Okay, so they're going to go back and check. Wonderful. This looks easy. Again, I said, you're kind of going to grade 2, 3. Okay, and we still want to do something that's really interesting, and I want you to copy my pattern. Come on.
Oh, wow.
What is this?
Okay, you're just seeing it from one angle, and you're
Yeah,
trying to
not this way.
decipher. Okay, I'll give a little bit of a hint. I'll get more.
Just like this.
I have a nice shining light on my head.
Yes, like I think I won it somehow.
Okay, here goes.
Okay,
Is it?
Amrita, check your dark blue.
My?
Dark
Oh,
blue.
yeah. I can check my light blue also.
Bela, check your light blue.
What happened to the light blue?
You check.
Can I see yours? Light blue is correct. I think dark blue should be here.
Now I can check.
I thought I managed so beautifully.
So was I. Now it's
Okay.
right.
Correct now?
No, Amrita, check your dark blue's position the way we are showing it.
Yes, I have to show it this way.
Yeah, but now you built a mirror image.
Yes, I have to change this one now. Now it's right.
No, look at the orange and red.
Oh, yeah. My God, I'm loving this. If I like it so much, I wonder what the children will do in class.
Okay, I'm just going to tilt this a bit so that you know where is your green's position supposed to be. So Amrita, your green is not right.
Did I say I liked it?
Okay, wonderful. Okay, now I'm not going to get into the correction mode, but this can definitely improve. And as we do this every day, it becomes better. Why are we doing this? Okay, in engineering drawing, there is something called as isometric orthographic. You look at 2D, build a 3D. Look at 3D, build a 2D. This is what it is. Junior KG, senior KG, understanding 2D, 3D, and building things. I mean, what you're really seeing is 2D because it's on a screen or on a piece of paper, right? So you have to imagine where could be the position. So much of thinking happening here, right? I mean, we being 30 plus are taking some time to understand the positioning of all of this. Imagine children. They're going to...
This is not only about engineering, it's about everything. You look at a house and you're looking at placement in a house. How do you place your chairs and your tables and everything? That's all 3D. What you're seeing on a paper is 2D.
Yes.
Right? You see a blueprint. And you can think of n number of examples where a child has to translate this into everyday life.
So when you say spatial understanding, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, simple. Good. So I hope I was able to justify your question about music, about patterns, about colors, and I think whatnot. movement is anyway something that's already happening. We're moving our hands constantly. Of course, there's a lot that we can do as a group together in a pair of 2 and 3, but it's not possible to do it in an online format now. I can't get into that now. But yes, as a group activity, because we want them to collaborate and learn things. So that's definitely happening, which I will talk in. If you have a next question for me, I will, yes, try and answer.
Actually, I want to talk to you when we're talking about so many things about now. STEM is something which is so everyone wants to know how you can incorporate STEM. Can we use this? I know we've already used it with gravity and we've used it with other, but are there any activities that really incorporate math and the arts and everything all together with this?
Right. So I think a lot of
you did a lot already with STEM.
Yeah, but I just thought I'm going to just kind of give a full form of what is STEAM. Okay, so what is STEM? So science, technology, engineering, and maths, which got better with STEAM, where A got
Arts.
added and that became arts. And there's another addition to it, which is stream. Okay, and R stands for a lot of things, something that's really, really customizable as per what you want to do. So R stands for religion, R stands for robotics, R stands for reading, and R stands for research. Depending upon the age group, depending upon what you want to drive in your classroom, you can work on R. So that's really doable something. So that's about STEAM, STEM, or stream, and whatever. We can just go on and on about it. But we want to get it into our classroom. Let's put that into classroom. Which also means that why do we want STEAM or why do we want STEM into our classroom? Very simple, because 21st century skills, we all know about that, we learn about it. But we also learn about those 4 C's, which 4 C's, if you just broaden it and make it bigger, you will end up getting those 21st century skills, which is, I would say critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication. So that comes into 4 C's. We want them to learn, and STEM is a great way of getting that into children. Again, STEM is experiential learning, doing, learning by doing things. How do we get all of that into classroom? And, with what we see around, do we need to invest in those robotics kits? And, so much of things are happening in the STEM world. We always have budget. Yes, as you go higher up, 6th grade, middle school, higher school, yes, you have to get into robotics. But how do we include all of this for our pre-primary children? Can we really get STEM solutions? Okay, sorry, was that my echo? Okay. How can we get that into the classroom? I'm going to show 2 things. We all know about that story, 3 billy goats, right? So 3 goats have to go from one end of the other end, and there's a little monster or whoever, that little chap who's sitting under the bridge. Okay, yeah. Wonderful. So now we are done with the story. So that's what we did in the class. So we did the reading in the class. Okay, now come on children, let's build a bridge in the class, because the goats have to pass. Okay, we have a goat and that goat has to pass, and we want to do experiential learning. So that's maybe my table. Okay, and I want them to build a bridge, and the material that you have, just some, you have this bubble paper, you have this sheet of paper. Yeah, I think I'm just going to change the color. So that's the sheet of paper, and I've got some piece of cloth. Okay. Yeah, not well cut, but just forget it. It's more like a rag. Okay. So I am supposed to use my 6 bricks and build a bridge. Okay. So let's see if I'm able to build a bridge. I'm not asking for a solution now, because we don't want to get into that discussion phase now. So I have this material. Okay, so let me just see if I can use this. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to try and fix this here. Okay. Let me see this. Okay. So I have a nice bridge ready for my goats to pass. Okay. Is this strong enough? Is this weak enough? Looks good. Okay. My goats are not going to go down again. But if the child has built it like this, this is going down. Okay. So how am I going to make this stronger? Okay. You're going to start thinking. You're going to use your cognitive skills. I'm not saying engineering skills. Okay. Because you can't use that term. So I'm going to just tighten this up a bit, and my bridge is tighter. Okay. But not everybody has used a bubble paper. Some of them have also used a piece of cloth. Okay, so let's try and see if that works with the cloth. Can you build a bridge with the cloth? Okay, so we're going to do the measurement here. We're going to try and see how much of cloth do we have and what's the distance of the bridge that we can really build. Okay. Okay. Is this good? When the goat goes here, no, it's touching. With the weight of the goat, it's going to go down. This doesn't look like a good solution. The monster is going to eat up. So then you experiment with different types of material and you let them know that how can we make a stronger bridge? That's where your engineering is coming, or that's where your technology aspect of thing is coming. We didn't have to do anything. We're not even telling them about engineering, but just a fun activity. They made a bridge. That story is always going to stay in their mind because they built it or they did a hands-on activity with it, right? Pyramids, we all love pyramids. Okay, we teach children about pyramids, we teach about the shapes and everything about pyramids. We tell them that there were mummies in the pyramid. Okay, there was treasure in the pyramids. We talk about all those things, but where is the treasure and where is the mummy? I mean, how did it get inside it, right? I mean, as a child you're going to think about it, right? Okay, so that's my little pyramid that I have made here. Okay, again, they're all built in a partner activity. 2 or 3 of us got together and we build the pyramid. Okay, now while we build the pyramid, okay, let me just show you the structure of the pyramid. Okay, that's how we went ahead building the pyramid. Okay, so I'm just going to so the teacher is going to say that, okay, that's the first layer, and then you build the second layer. Okay, now let's build the next layer. Okay, good. Just going to build this. Lovely. What can you see inside? There's a cavity. Okay, there's some space. So that's where the mummies were kept. That's where the treasure was hidden. Okay, and all that you had to do was just build a little cave here, make a little opening here, get into it, get the kings and queens inside because there's a lot of space here, hollow space here. And then, you just close the pyramid here. Everything is done. So again, you've got your 4 triangles here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your base is, hold on. Okay, your base is actually a square. And this is how the pyramid looks like if you had to really invert it and check what's inside. Wow, I am amazed with this. As a child, I've got intrigued and I might just get up or I might just get hooked onto history and start learning about, ancient Egypt and so many things. So that happened because my teacher made it very simple and interesting for me. So just 2 simple activities of getting STEM into your classroom. And again, we just use the blocks.
Absolutely. These are all invitations to learn, Yeah.
Absolutely.
So any questions
Mrinal,
from any
I
of the
think we have
audience?
one question. Yeah.
Yes, let's see.
Vela, there is a question in the question.
Yes, I'm
answer.
just seeing. Yeah. Now, regarding the senior KG level, can you allow something on? Can you show us something on numbers addition?
Oh, that's yes. So we know that little what is STEM? Okay, I'm just going to answer that. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Okay. Coming into addition and subtraction, yes, easy to show. Okay. So these are my 5 little ducks, and that's my mama duck. Okay. So 5 little ducks went out to play over the hills and far away, and mama duck calls, and only 4 come back. Okay, so you had 4, and now count how many do you have? 1, 2. You had 5, and then you have 1 duck less. So how many do you have? So again, your 1 duck is here, and your 4 ducks are here. So yes, so 5 minus 1, you have 4. Okay, so in the same way, you have 3. Okay, you have 2 and 1, and then you say, okay, now you have only 2 ducks here. How can we make this 3 ducks? Okay, so I'm just going to add 1 more, and 1, 2, and 3. So just using your poem, just using your existing rhyme, we can just do this subtraction, addition, and something very simple.
Word problems also. So if you have 3 birds, in a tree and 1 flew away, how many are left? So they can see. So
absolutely,
all your word problems can be done with this.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
You can learn about number lines also. You can learn about integers, positive, negative. You can learn about, first, second, third, first floor, second floor, third floor, the cardinal numbers that we call. It's just all.
Ordinal numbers, yes.
Yes.
I've seen people also writing with markers the numbers and doing activity with that as well. They write with
Yes.
marker. They do that for numbers especially.
Absolutely. So yes, any questions?
Any more questions from the audience? I don't think so. If anybody has any questions, please put it in the question answer box.
It's good to see the same strength that we started with,
Yes,
which means people are glued to this.
right. So Brunal, I think it was a
Wonderful.
wonderful workshop. Even I enjoyed it so much, even though I'm watching it the second time, once in the Edithon, once over here. I've really
And,
enjoyed myself.
I'm really going to finish this and start making those staircases. Backwards,
Only one
forwards,
request,
upwards,
Brunal, to
down.
you. Brunal, you think you could do the Baby Shark song for everybody with this?
Oh, yes.
How can we forget that? I love that.
Okay,
Let's
good.
end with that, a good note.
Yes. And I think, I think one question that a lot of them would have is that how can we, is there like a curriculum or is there something that we can do around it? Yes.
Yes.
So I am going to come back with ABCD with Amrita and Bela on a teacher training session on something that we can do together. It's again like a 2-day session that we can do. I'm going to, train you all on how to do this and put this into multiple subjects and all of that. So just, fetch that information from Amrita and Bela about this. Baby Shark. The challenge is that, yes, we're going to do Baby Shark. Baby Shark has 3 elements: baby, mummy shark, and daddy shark. Okay. So I want to teach children something about incremental size, or something that is, something that is small.
Degrees of comparison.
Yes, degrees of comparison. Okay. Small, smaller, smallest, big, bigger, biggest. Okay. Which we can. Okay, sorry, just getting too much into the fun mood. But yes, if we want to do that, so we've just got 6 bricks, okay, and we want to show baby shark, we want to build mama shark, and we want to build daddy shark. Do you want me to play the song, or we just sing it and do this?
Let's play it. That'll be good fun.
Let's play.
Little peppy music. If you have the music, if not, we'll just. You want me to find the music? I might have it.
Everybody sip some
Thank you
water.
for attending.
Everybody sip some water while I fetch the music for you.
Yes.
It's time you haven't had water. Sorry, I love to treat everybody as a child. It just makes it easy.
Ping pong.
Okay, the pink. Okay, wonderful. Ready. Okay, everybody, first I want you to hear the song, okay? And then we're going to design our sharks, okay? So just focus and look at, there are a lot of clues in the finger of the little baby in front of you, okay? Bela, that's the answer. So you can just hide it. Bela, hide the answer. Okay. Oh, share the sound. You can hear me? You can hear the sound?
Baby shark, baby shark, baby shark. Mommy shark, mommy shark, mommy shark, mommy shark.
Daddy shark, daddy shark, daddy shark, daddy shark.
Grandma.
Okay, so we've got.
Brunal, we can't hear
Can't
you.
hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so if you remember the song, the little boy or the girl in front, this was baby
Yes.
shark, this was mummy shark, and this was daddy shark. Okay, so big, bigger, biggest, like Amrita just said. How are we going to use our 6 bricks to first make the baby shark? Okay, so I think Bela had a solution to that, but yes, that's our little baby shark. Okay, Simple, with some music as well. How would you change that into Mummy Shark? Yes. So it also means about the orientation, right? I mean, are you going to make it like this? Are you going to make it like this? It's complex for a child to understand this. Not easy. Okay, that's Mummy Shark. And I'm left with 2 more blocks. And I have my nice Daddy Shark. And then, I mean, this goes on, you can put a nice googly eye here, make this into a shark, put some nice fins here. So much fun. I mean, do the
I'm
activity,
sure
do
the
the
kids are
song.
going to love this activity.
Absolutely.
Please try it in your school, even on online class, you can try this. It's going to be great fun for the children.
I think all these activities can be done in online classes.
Yes, everything.
Another thing I'm going to try is doing that and throwing that thing.
That's going to
So
be
this
good
is
fun.
what really
Mrinal, you have
happens.
spoiled all of us.
This is what really happens in the classroom. You are not able to do it. You're going to go back home and practice because this stays in your
Yes.
bag, right? This is yours. You're going to do it till you don't learn that skill. So
And the best part is next day you come, teachers upgraded the script to something else.
absolutely, absolutely. Wonderful.
And it was an amazing workshop. You know, there are words are very less to describe this kind of workshop because there's so much value that you have given us.
Thank you.
We can do math, we can do literacy, we've done sequencing, we've done science, we've done engineering. I think it's covered every aspect of the curriculum and truly integrating all subjects like a multidisciplinary curriculum using just blocks. As simple as that. Thank you so much. This was super. We are looking forward to having you on the ABCDE Academy. And I'm sure everyone over here is just waiting to attend your workshop. So as soon as we have the dates ready, we're going to inform all of you about,
Absolutely.
the workshop Mrinal will be conducting on the ABCDE Academy.
Thank you, Mrinal. It was a very, very fun session. I really enjoyed myself. So thank you from me as well.
Thank you for taking the pledge and participating the way I wanted you all to. So that's perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks
Bye,
for
everyone.
attending.
See you next Wednesday.
Bye.